I think I would like to just share today how Equip, Empower, and Engage has impacted my life. Um, Even though I'm one of the authors and one of the guides, teachers at the E3 course, I've still been profoundly affected by how E3 has, God has used E3 to develop my life and my spiritual perspective. I was raised in a traditional conservative Christian environment. I grew up in the 60s, worked through the 70s, and all the things that have gone on in our culture all these years. And I learned my relationship with God from a pretty strict perspective. But there was one watershed moment where I actually had a living conversation with God, and it was while I was painting a truck, where God asked me some questions about who gave me the gifts and the ability to do what I do. And I recognized that He had done that. And then He said this, and it changed everything for me. What if I gave you those gifts and those abilities so that I could watch you paint trucks? And at that moment, everything shifted for me, because I had no category that God went with me in my daily life. I had no shelving for that He was with me, and He loved who I was, what I did, what I cared about, and in my livelihood as a sign painter. And so E3 actually began there, not in a school or a classroom. It began in a truck shop, where I started realizing that my God was not just a personal piece of information, but my God was a real and living being who wanted to know me and wanted me to know Him. And that began a conversation that has carried me through to today. And I love it because in E3 we get to ask questions around, well, how do I know these things? And certainly there are Bible verses for a lot of what I know. But more than that, I have a relationship, which is the reason I know. And that relationship is living, it's present, it's tangible. It happens daily, hourly, by the minute some days. It's even real to the point where I could be construed as a weirdo because I have conversations with God and He talks back. And they're very real. And so E3, we like to share with people the value of questions, conversation, and being able to see God as someone who's present, tangible, and goes with us in our daily lives. And I wanted to just share as part of my testimony that I was one of those kids that couldn't read, write, or spell. And so I never dreamed in my life that I would ever be an author. But probably the 5 greatest lessons that I've learned in my life are in a book that I wrote called Becoming What We Behold. And this book tells 5 different stories, 6 different stories in it, but they all point at the same thing. And that is that I have learned that my God is living. He lives within me, lives with me, lives around me, lives to see that I thrive and that I'm a fully equipped revelation of His grace and His goodness in the earth. And so that's what I would love to share.